Hello guys, Max here, and today I want to show you a little bit of what I've been working on this past weekend and how to use it. So I made a small library for JavaScript that makes interacting with the HTML5 canvas feature really easy. So it's a bit like P5.js, but I wanted to see if I could recreate, or well, not recreate it, it's way more simple. So what I've got set up here is a folder, and it just has the library and an HTML file, which I've got open in the browser here. As you can see, it says my awesome project because that's the title here. So yeah, so to load the library in, you have to do it like any other library. So script source, and I've got it in the main folder, in the same folder as my index, so I can just do this easy-canvas.js. And then you want your own script, and we'll leave it empty for now. And then in the body we want an actual canvas to interact with, so I'm just gonna give it the ID of canvas so we can declare it in the functions, if that makes sense. So it's easier to find it and interact with it. That's what I meant to say. Yes, that's it. So in our script we want to make a function. I always call it init for initialize, but you can call it whatever you want. And on canvas you want on body you want to do onload equals and then that function you just made. So this makes sure the script waits before everything in the document is loaded, so, because otherwise you would try to interact with a canvas that doesn't exist. So now it does exist. So function init, and in here all of our code is gonna go. So first of all, to define the canvas, you need to do set canvas, then a canvas. So I'm gonna do document.get element by ID canvas, comma, and then the width. I'm gonna do inner width, so the full screen, and then the height. I'm gonna do inner height. Now you may recognize this from p5.js a little bit, where it's create canvas and then a height and a width, but I did it like this, set canvas. Yes, so now yeah, so pretty much we now have a canvas. Now as you can see, these little scroll bars appeared, but I've set the width and the height to the width of the window. This is because by default HTML, the body has a small margin, so we can just erase that by overriding it. So just put some style tags, body, margin 0 pixels. So now it's fully filled the screen. So yeah, pretty much that's how you set the canvas. So you can't see it right now, but I'll get to that. So like in P5.js, I've made a background function, and this literally just takes a color. It can be RGBA, so let's do this for red. And as you can see, the background's now red. We can shift that. Now it should be green. There we go. It can also be whatever this is called. I'm not sure. I think it's hex or something. And as you can see, we got a nice background here. So I'm gonna keep this 333. Jesus. Yes, I'm gonna keep it like that because I like the look of it. It's like the same as the editor I'm using, which is Visual Studio Code, by the way, or VS Code. It's a really nice editor. So we've set a background now, so yes, yep. And now to actually animate, oh wait, I need to talk about the other things first. So what I've made easier is the drawing of primitive shapes. So I've got circle, rectangle, and line so far, but you can do a whole bunch with those. And I've made a system for vectors. If you don't know what a vector is, I recommend watching the Coding Trains video, or well, actually all of his videos, because it's the best channel for learning JavaScript if you're a beginner like me. So yeah, so let's first look at the circle. So circle takes an X, a Y, a radius, a fill color, so the inside of the shape, so I'm gonna set that to red, and it takes a stroke color, so the border around the circle, I'll set that to green or something. And yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna set X to, let's say 200, and Y to 200, the radius 30. And there we go, we have a, if you can see that, we have a red circle with a green border around it. So yep, so that works, that's the circle. Then we have rectangle. This also takes an X and a Y. So let's see, 300, 300, and it takes a width. So let's do 30 by 30. So that's a width and a height. Width and the height. So, and then it also takes the same two color arguments. So let's make this one blue with the border being red. And as you can see, we've got a blue rectangle with the border being red. It looks purple because it mixes for some reason. I don't know. So yeah, let's make that a bit bigger so we can see it better. So as you may notice, the rectangle is drawn from the top here. I'm working on a way to let you define if you want to work from the top left corner or the center of the rectangle. The circle, I think, is drawn, yeah, the circle's drawn from the center, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so that's circle and rect, and now line takes it takes two positions. So like this would be x100, y100, so that's the starting point, to x500, y500. So this should make a, oh, and then a color. This only takes one color argument because you can't fill the inside of a line. It's just a line. So let's make it green, I guess. You can make it like this. That's green and blue mixed, whatever that is. So this should make a diagonal line like that. As you can see, we've got a nice aqua blue line going through our objects here. Now, so that's how you do primitive shapes in easy-canvas. Now, you might know that in p5.js there's this draw function, and it's just an animation loop. So I'll talk about that now. Alright, so the animation loop. So to do an animation in easy-canvas, we're going to use the setInterval method. Now the setInterval takes a function, so I'm going to do it in the ES6 way, like this. So that's a function. This could also just be function like that. Let's do it in a new way because I want to switch over. So it takes a function. Wait, let me just do that again. setInterval, it takes a function. There we go. And then after the function, you can do 1000 milliseconds, which is 1 second, divided by 60. So this would run our sketch at 60 frames a second. Same with divided by 30, etc. That's just math. So this is our animation loop. So let's see. Let's define an object called ball, and I'm gonna use the literal object notation, I think it's called. So x will be inner width divided by 2, y will be inner height divided by 2, so just this, yeah, that makes the position at the center, and then a radius of 30. Yep, that's good. And then in this loop we want to do a circle at ball.x, ball.y, ball.r with the color, let's just make it red. And by the way, if you define a color as 0, just 0, no quotation marks, it doesn't give it a color at all. So this makes the inside red, but the outside is not a color. If you would invert this like this, now it has an outside and not, as you can see, not an inside, not a fill. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Now every loop, so this is now looping at 60 frames a second. Now it keeps drawing over our ball over and over again. So I'm gonna do background there, so we can like reset the sketch every time a new frame is drawn. So now let's try manipulating the ball by changing its x value and its y value. So we can do ball.x plus equals, so equals ball.x plus, and then we can do math.random times 10, for example. And we can copy this for ball.y, and now our ball is randomly moving along the edge there. And I'm actually gonna do a little trick here, which is math.random minus 0.5, because math.random goes from 0 to 1. So if you can't reach negative numbers, so if you do minus 0.5, you can reach negative numbers. So let's just do that. Now as you can see, our ball is randomly moving about, doing whatever it wants to do. And yeah, that's how animation works, so just using the set interval method. Now we can also, what's the next thing? Let me see here. Line. I have vectors. So I assume you know what a vector is. If you don't, look at the Daniel Shiffman's video or coding train. So we can, instead of doing x and y as inner width divided by 2 and inner height divided by 2, we can do position is a new vector on inner width divided by 2, inner height divided by 2. So position just, or vector just takes an x and a y. So this should still work. No, ball.pose.x, ball.pose.x for position, and here ball.pose, pause. There we go. So now it still works, but now it's in a vector, which makes it easier to do things like, let's see, let's make another ball, ball2, a new vector at, let's just copy this ball, make it ball2, there we go. Oh, I need to copy this too. I should do this with an array, but I'm just showing you guys how it works. So ball2, ball2, ball2. There you go. We now have two balls just randomly walking, pretty much. So now they both have vectors. So we could do ball2.position.distance to ball.position. So yeah, let's console.log this and see what we get here.